In our last two sessions, we have explored fundamentals of object-oriented programming in Python. We learned about how we create classes and then defining instance variables, instance methods to manipulate the object data. We also talked about class methods and static methods. So before we move ahead and learn new things in OOPS like inheritance and polymorphism, etc., what I want to do is to take another example and build a mini project of sorts so that we can solidify everything that we have learned so far. Earlier, we looked at an employee class and we created some methods and attributes within that class. This time, let us take some other project. And I'm thinking about taking a real life project. For example, we can talk about a ATM simulator, right? We are using bank accounts and we are using ATMs all the time. So this, I think, will be a good idea to implement practically OOPS concepts to see how we can build a ATM simulator on our own, and what are the components that will go in that. So this is kind of a mini project. This is for your understanding. This is for your practice. The purpose of this mini project will be to link everything that we have learned to a real life project and a real life application, and to apply our learnings so that we know where exactly OOPS comes into picture in the life cycle of a software development. So here I have a small description of what we are going to do. We have the objective here. So we are going to understand object-oriented programming through a real-world example. We are going to implement the classes and instance variables, methods, and inheritance method overwriting we are not going to use as of now. Inheritance and method overriding, operator overriding, these concepts we'll learn. And again, we will come back to this project and we will add more things. But in this video, we will only look at building a simple version of this. And then we will, as and how we gain more and more knowledge, we'll add more items to this project. So what is the final outcome? What are we trying to build? We are trying to build a ATM simulator using our command line, where a user can come, they can enter a account number or a pin, and then they can check how much money they have in their account, and they should be able to withdraw the money. They should be able to deposit the money, and then they should be able to exit the system. So try to imagine how you interact with the ATM. When you go, you put in your card and then you put in your pin, and you have option of checking your balance, you have option of withdrawing some money, depositing some money, and then in the end you are exiting the system. Okay, and there's an authentication system. If you're trying to enter amount which is not sufficient, then you're getting some error, right? And if you're entering invalid pin, then also you're getting you're getting an error message. If you're putting invalid pin maybe more than 3 times, your account gets logged. So these are the things that happen, and all of this is implemented using object oriented programming. So we'll try to simulate all of this as much as possible in this small project. Okay, so I've broken this down into small steps. So first step will be that we create our relevant classes, and we'll create two classes. One will be bank account and one will be ATM. So when I was trying to give you the intuition of object oriented programming, I told you that in OOPS we are trying to create real life objects in programming language. So in real life, when you're trying to work with the ATM, the first thing is bank account. There has to be a bank account, right? Then there has to be a user, then there has to be an ATM. So all these three objects are kind of interacting with each other. At least this is how I see it. You might even see it differently, but I'm going to show you my approach. And this is a very simple and very minimalistic approach. So we'll have a bank account, we'll have an ATM. We can also create a user, or we can create a bank account holder. We'll see as and how the requirement is. We will take the decision. We'll first design it, and then we will try to create the classes accordingly. And then we will implement some basic functionality. For example, if we have a bank account, we want the bank account will have some attributes like account number, pin, balance. So every bank account has account number, and every bank account has their own pin, their own balance. So these are going to be instance characteristics or instance attributes, instance variables, you can call it. Now bank account can have some class variables also. For example, interest rate. So everyone who is a member of that bank can have their own interest rates. Again, interest rate can also depend on the user, but for this example, we can keep interest rate as common across the bank account if interest is needed. I don't know if that will be needed or not, but if we talk about bank account, maybe interest rate is required. And then we can create ATM class. So ATM, every ATM can be linked to certain bank accounts. So if you have bank account in a certain bank, then only you can maybe interact with the ATM. And some ATMs may not accept bank debit cards of some other bank. So maybe somewhere bank account and ATM has to be linked with each other. And then ATM has to have authentication, right? ATM needs to have authentication. When you put the card, you need to put the pin, right? And pin has to be matching with the existing pin. So how do we create the existing pin? How are we going to match, and how are we going to authenticate? If authentication doesn't happen, then we need to terminate the session, right? And then we also need to display the menu. We have to display the menu. We have to say like press 1 for this, press 2 to withdraw, press 3 to deposit money, something like that. And once we have done this, then we will build the ATM menu system and we'll try to interact it. If you know a little bit about GUIs, or later when you learn about GUIs, you can also create a graphical user interface where, like a software, where a window appears and you have different options and buttons and you can click and you can do. Today we'll not do it, but you can also think of doing that maybe later. And once we have done this, then we are going to test it, and then we have to be very careful about what edge cases can happen. So I've taught you about exception handling, error handling. So if you have invalid account number, if you're trying to withdraw money that is exceeding the balance, if you're trying to deposit some negative money, right? And whenever a user wants to quit in between the process, we should allow the user to quit. So these are some of the things that that is coming to my mind when I think about a ATM simulator. So you also try to think about it, and you can create your own plan. And once that plan is ready, we will try to implement, and we'll start writing the code. So my strategy is that I'm going to first create the bank account, and we will think about how to create a bank account, and then we'll write the class definition. Then we'll create some bank accounts and see whether it is working fine or not. Then we'll think about ATM, and then we'll see how we can link them. And then after that, we will talk about simulating the ATM, how we can take out money or we can deposit money. So that is the plan. I hope you have understood what we are trying to do. So once we have done this, we'll get started. I'll try to write some code in the Jupyter notebook, but after a point, we'll probably try to shift to an IDE. So let us get started. As per the plan, we will first create a class for bank account and add relevant attributes and methods to that, and test out bank account class, and we'll take it forward from there. Okay. So for creating a bank account class, I'm going to use the class keyword and bank account, and usually this is the convention that is used for naming classes in Python. And we will write here init method, which means when we create a bank account, what is the information that should be given for creating a bank account. So when we create a bank account, maybe we need account number, right? And we need a pin maybe. Okay. And whenever we open a bank account, there is some starting balance. We started with some amount of money, so we'll keep it this way. And we can also we can do a proper type hinting here, so that anyone who's looking at this code knows what type of data type has to be passed. So account number is going to be string, and pin is going to be an integer. Okay. And balance is going to be a float. Okay. So we can probably keep it like this, and we can have a default balance. You can keep a default balance of 0 or whatever, but I'm making it mandatory that whenever someone opens a bank account, some money has to be put in. Okay. So we can come here, and then we can just say self dot account number will be self dot account number will be account number, and self dot pin will be equal to pin, and self dot balance should be equal to balance. Actually, the pin should not be stored like this, because we are just uh, building a very simple use case. That's why I'm keeping the pin here. But actually, pin should be hashed, or there's some kind of encryption that should be applied. But we'll not get into all that. Okay. And so we have created a bank account, and let us first work with this. So let me create a account one, and I will make it as a bank account, and I will give account number maybe 123, and I will give a pin. So account number should be a string. So I'll make it like this, and I'll give a pin 1234, and I will give a balance. So balance, let me start it with 10,000 rupees. So if I come here and if I look at type, you can see this is a bank account type instance. Okay, so you can see this is a class, a bank account. So next, what we need to add here is in the bank account, what are the things we can add? Maybe we want to check the balance. Okay, we want to check how much money is there in my account. So I'm keeping this also as an instance method, and here I'm just going to return self dot balance. Okay, so if we do check balance, we'll be able to get self dot. So this we can also accomplish using this. We can also do account one dot balance. We can get it like this, but I'm creating a method as well here. And let me do so here there is also an application of a private variable, where we may not want someone to change account balance like this. Maybe someone can do 20,000 like this. So there is a concept of keeping private variables, but I will discuss that later. For now, let us keep it in such a way that we can access it using account one balance also, and we can also do account dot check balance using the method as well. We should be able to retrieve it, and then we want to deposit some money. Okay, so deposit, we'll just keep it as deposit, and I will call it self, and I will give some amount maybe. Okay, so this amount is going to be float, and what I'm going to do is when we deposit the money, I'm going to do self dot balance will be equal to self dot balance plus amount. Okay, so this should not be account, this should be amount. Okay, and here we need to probably check, so I'm putting a to do here. So we should check if the amount should be positive. Okay, we should not, someone should not someone should not deposit negative money or minus 10 something. So is positive. So this should be okay. Let me add it instead of putting a to do. Let me just add it. So I will say if amount is greater than 0, so it can't be 0, it should be greater than 0, then I'm going to write this. Else I can raise a error, I can raise exception. I can say that, or I can raise a value error, value error, or let me just raise a simple exception. We'll see later what kind of exception should be appropriate. I'll just raise amount to be deposited can't be negative. So we have done this much work, and now let me again create a count, and here let me check the balance. I can do account one dot get balance, or sorry, it's check balance. Okay, so I'm getting 10,000, and then let me deposit some money into this dot. I'll do deposit, and let me deposit maybe 20,000. So now if I do account one dot balance, it should give me 30,000. I can also do account one dot get, or sorry, check balance. It should be get balance. I think that's better naming. So see, we are able to now create a bank account, and we are able to assign some balance there, and then we are able to deposit some money, and then we should be able to withdraw some money as well. Okay, so let me also withdraw some money. So here again, I need to add amount, and this amount should be float. Okay, and whatever amount we want to withdraw, we should deduct that from the balance. So I will do self dot balance is equal to self dot balance minus amount. Again, we need to make some checks. For example, the amount that I'm trying to withdraw should not be more than the balance. So I should check if amount should be greater than 0, and amount should be less than equal to self dot balance. Okay, so then only I should do this. Otherwise we can, okay, so what I can do here is, let me put the condition here so that it is better in terms of readability. Okay, so here I can raise some exception. Okay, and I can say insufficient balance. Okay, and if the amount is not greater than 0, if someone has entered some invalid number, so then I can just say, I can just raise the exception. So it's good to kind of think about it and kind of anticipate what are the possible exceptions that you can get, and try to handle as many number of exceptions as possible. So amount to be withdrawn can't be negative. So we have done this much work. Now let me come back here, and account balance is 10,000. I'm depositing, and then maybe I want to withdraw. So let me do account one dot withdraw, and I want to withdraw maybe 5,000 rupees. So, and now if I check account one dot balance, okay, so now it is 25,000 rupees. It is working fine, and we can also add some logs. Okay, so we'll do that. Let me just put a to do here. Um, okay, what I will do, add logs for this. Basically, when anyone is interacting with their account, if they are adding some money or if they are withdrawing some money, I should log it somewhere that at this date and time so and so money was deposited, like a passbook kind of a thing. So we'll see whether we want to add logs. We'll look at that later. Okay, so we have now created a bank account where we are having some basic methods here. A constructor method, we are having a check balance, we are having a deposit, we are having, and bank account. We can also have a name of the bank as a class variable, but right now I don't see the requirement for that, so I've not put it. And here we can also add some print statements that so and so money was withdrawn or so and so money was deposited. Again, we'll add that later, but for now I think we have our bank account class ready. Now let us create the ATM class that will use these bank accounts and will authenticate, and then we will be able to withdraw some money from there. So I'm going to make a class. Uh, okay, let me make a class ATM. Why is it giving me a warning here? I don't know. Let me create in a new cell. We'll use class ATM. Okay, and in this ATM, it's also a good idea to add some documentation here. So this is, you can add something. Uh, ATM class that will register an account, authenticate, then allow the user to deposit or withdraw from the account. try to be as descriptive as possible. Okay, I've written something that is very very simple, and we're going to create ATM. So when we create an ATM, what are the things that needs to be there? So we can think of ATM also as an entity that has some money, and ATM can also sometimes run out of money. So ATM can have some starting balance, and ATM should also have some kind of link with certain bank accounts. So we'll do the money part later. As of now, let us just think about ATM as an entity that will have connection to certain accounts, and only people having accounts that are linked with the ATM will be able to withdraw some money. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to have self dot, I'm going to make registered accounts. Okay, registered accounts, I'll keep it as a empty dictionary or empty list. Let it be a empty dictionary for now. We'll see how we want to add it later. And then what we want to do is we want to register some account. So before you want to interact with the ATM, at least once you have to register your account. Maybe that is how I'm thinking of it. Okay, so see, nothing. What I'm doing is nothing is set in stone. It's as per my understanding. You can kind of play around with your own ideas on how you want this ATM to work. So I will do self dot registered account. So when we register account, we need to provide an account. Okay. So what is going to be this account? This account is going to be a bank account, right? So when we create a bank account, for example, this account one is what I want to register with the ATM, right? So what is going to be the type of account? The type of the account is going to be bank account, which is this. Okay, just like here I've written string or float. Similarly, I have created my own data type, so it has to be a bank account. So once we have the bank account, what I'm going to do is I'm going to say self dot registered accounts. This is a dictionary, so here I'm going to add a key and a value. So here maybe I can add, the key can be the account number. So it can be account number. Do we have account number? Yes, we have account number. Okay, so we'll have account number, and we'll put the value as, we'll just put the entire account here. You can put that also, or you can also have just the pin. That is also maybe one way. I'm just putting the entire account, so all the entire object will be stored here in the dictionary. I hope you're able to grasp here what I'm trying to do. This is something that I did not show you in the previous examples. This is something new. What I'm doing is I'm creating a dictionary. This dictionary will have the ATM account number, and it will have the entire account. Okay, so this will be maybe account one, and this entire account will again have account name and account balance and everything. I have registered my account, and after that, what I want to do is I want to authenticate in order to get money. So before I am able to withdraw money, I have to authenticate. So in order to authenticate, what I have to do, I need to ask the user to enter the account number on which he wants to operate, and he also has to enter the pin. So once the pin is there, we will check the pin that user has entered with the pin of that account, and if the pin are matching, then we will return the account. Once the account is returned, we can run all our methods to withdraw the money from there. Okay, so what I want to do is first I want to get the account. So in order to get the account, we'll do self dot registered accounts, and I want to do get account number. Okay, so this will give me the account uh, on which the user is trying to work, and for this account I'm going to get the pin, and I want to check, okay, if the pin is equal to account dot pin. Okay, in that case I'm just going to print login successful. Okay, and I'm going to return the account. So once the account is returned, then we will be able to withdraw the money, or we will be able to check the balance. If the pin is not correct, then we will raise some exception. Okay, we'll raise the exception. We'll say invalid pin. Okay, and I have taught you maybe in the while loops or for loop somewhere, where we can allow the user to ask the user to enter the pin 2 times or 3 times, and when once he has entered a wrong pin 3 times, then we can block the account. I think I've given some example or some related example when we were discussing about while loops. So you can implement that also. If the user has entered invalid pin, then we can ask the user to enter it again, and then again, if 3 times they are entering the invalid pin, then we can lock the account for some time. Here I'm just giving one chance to the user to enter the password. Okay, so we have done the authentication here. Once the authentication is done, then we can what we can do is we can also we'll once the authentication is done, we'll return the account. Once the account is there, then we will be able to withdraw the money. So what we can do here is we let us display something. Okay, so display options. Okay, display options, let this be, let us have self here. I don't know if we are going to use self, so we'll just print, and we are going to print select the correct option, something like this, and then we'll just say one will be check balance, check your balance, and two will be withdraw some money, withdraw, and three will be deposit. Okay, and four maybe we want to exit. This is what we are going to do. Where are we getting an error? Pin is equal to, so here, okay, sorry. So we have created an ATM class now. So how do we check it? Okay, so first we have created account here. So we have an account one which we have created. Now let us create an ATM. So this will be ATM, and we don't have to pass anything here to initialize ATM, because we don't have anything in the self constructor. We just have the self. Fine. So once we have done this, we can register our account. So we can do register account, and for registering the account, I need to give the account number. So I have account one dot account number. Okay. So account number string of account one, and let me look at account one dot account number. 123 is there. So okay, for registering the account, I don't have to pass account number, I have to pass the account. Fine. So I can just put account. I think that's not a good idea, but let us see. Account one, I think. Okay, fine. So now I can do ATM dot authenticate. We have to see how we are going to put this in a line. I think we should not pass the account here, but we'll see. Okay, so we have to authenticate. So in order to authenticate, I have to give the account number first. So account number is 123, and maybe the pin is 345. Okay, let us see what happens. It is raising an exception which is giving me invalid pin. Fine. I should also print something here instead of throwing an error. But we'll see about that. Okay, so what was the pin that we had set? Let me see. The pin that we have given is 1234. Fine. So we are able to, if I give 1234, then it is saying login successful. Okay, fine, this is good. And this should give me account. Okay, so what I can do here is it is printing login successful, and the account is getting stored here, and then we should be able to, from this account, we should be able to account dot check balance. Okay, so we are able to check the balance here. This is very good. But in case we are giving some wrong pin, in that case also we should return something, or we should print something. Okay, we'll see that. Let me come down here. Let me also see how the menu is appearing. So if I do ATM dot display options, so is it coming properly? Yes, it is coming. Select the correct option. It is giving me check your balance, withdraw, deposit, exit, etc. Now, if the user enters one, then we already have the account. We can check the balance. Otherwise, we can withdraw, we can deposit, or if we want, we can exit. So can be handled outside of class. So fine. So we have created our ATM class, and we have created our bank account class. Now let us combine them together and write our main code that is going to use this ATM class and bank account class, so that we can interact with the account and deposit some money. I hope you're getting some idea around how these objects are kind of imagined, and how these objects are behaving, what are the characteristics, and what are the methods, and how they are coming into place, and how they are logically bound together in order to accomplish a certain task or solve a certain problem. Now let us try to bring together this bank account and this ATM, and write the main piece of logic that is going to bind both these classes together, so that the user can simulate the working of an ATM. What we are going to do is we will ask the user to enter the account name or the account number. Once we have the account number, we are going to authenticate it. And let me write it down. So the first thing is that we'll create the bank account, and we will register it. But this will be one time process. This is not something that is going to happen every time. So we'll just create a few bank accounts, and we are going to link it to the ATM. So we'll create bank account, and then we will register the bank account with the ATM. Okay, so first, in fact, the first step should be that we'll create the ATM, or let us not write that down, it's obvious. Okay, and then we will we'll ask the user to enter the account number. Then we'll ask the user to enter the pin and authenticate, and then show options, and then as per what user is selecting, as per the option selected, perform deposit or withdraw operation. or check balance operation, whatever. Okay, so this is the plan that we want to execute, and of course this will be in a while loop. It will be an infinite loop until the user presses 4. We will constantly keep asking. So we'll ask the user to enter the account number, pin, do whatever he wants, and then again we will ask, do you want to do something else? Okay, once you have withdrawn the money, do you again want to check the balance? Again, do you want to withdraw? Again, do you want to deposit? And in the end, we are going to terminate it only when the user enters 4. I think that is what is our option. Yes, when the user enters 4, that is when we are going to uh, allow the user to exit it. Otherwise, if the user enters a wrong pin, then also he is going to exit. So it depends on you. You can also ask the user to enter the pin multiple times and then authenticate it. But here I have not written the logic that way. I'm just asking the user to enter the pin once. Okay, so let us get started. What we are going to do is, first we will just instantiate ATM, and then we are going to add some account. So we are going to do ATM dot register account, and then we are going to register some bank account. So I'm going to just create some bank accounts here. I'm going to create a bank account one, two, maybe just one bank account one. And what is it that we have to pass here? Account number and pin. Okay, so there has to be a pin here. So I'll enter the pin 1234, and then we need to enter some balance here. Okay, so I will enter 10,000 here. Come back and I'll create bank account 2, and here I will put the pin as 5678, and here I'm going to enter 20,000. So this is a one time process. If you have a lot of bank accounts, maybe hundreds of bank accounts, you're going to register them once, and once this is done, then we are going to ask the user account number. Okay, so we'll ask the user to input. We'll say enter the account number. Okay, so let me add a new line here so that it appears in a new line. Okay, we'll ask the user to enter the account number, and then we will ask the user to enter the pin. Okay, so we'll say pin. So we'll say please enter your pin, and here you can add some kind of validations because pin has to be an integer, so we are going to typecast it. Again, you know about exception handling, so try to see what kind of exception handling you have to put here. I've shown you one example of the common exceptions that can happen when you're trying to take input for something that is integer, and then you're typecasting it as integer. Okay, so we'll take the pin, and then we are going to check, we are going to authenticate. So we are going to do ATM dot authenticate, and to authenticate, what are the things we need to pass? We need to pass account number and pin. Okay, so we need to pass account number and pin. Okay, and this will give me the account. So once we have the account, we can display what the user wants. So we can just do ATM dot display options. So display options here, the way I have written, I have passed self here, but actually self is not needed. If you think about it, self is not needed here. So we can also make it as a static method. Okay, we can in fact make it as a static method here like this. So we can come here and we can say ATM dot display options, and it will display the options. And once the options are displayed, mm, we can ask the user to input your choice. Okay, this also I want to write it as /n, and then I will take choice, and choice also has to be integer. Okay, so I will just print choice here and see what, if the code that we have written so far, if it is working or not. So let me just stop this and let me run it again. Enter the account number. So what was the account number? Maybe 1. Fine. So this is 1. It says enter your pin 1234. Logging successful. Fine. Enter the correct option. Check your balance, withdraw, deposit. So I just want to check my balance. So it says 1. Okay, because I've not actually written the code to check the balance. Fine. So what I can do here is I can just do if choice equal to 1. Okay, then we are going to do balance. We're going to do ATM dot check balance, or what was it, get balance, sorry, ATM and sorry, account. We have to work with account. Okay, so we'll do account dot check balance, and this will be the balance, and then we are going to print it. We are going to print your balance, and we are going to say balance. I need to make it as a f string. Fine. We need to write, say for example, elif is equal to 2. Then what happens when we are having option as 2? Withdraw. So we'll do account dot withdraw, and if choice is 2, then we have to ask the what amount we want to withdraw. So we'll just say withdraw amount. We'll ask the user, input, enter the amount. We'll cast that as an integer. Again, for each of these steps we have to do typecasting and we have to do exception handling. So a better way would be to write a function that will take this input for amount, whether we want to withdraw it or we want to deposit it. I think instead of writing that again and again, we can just write a function for that. We'll see how we can do that, or you can also think about it, what's a better way to write it without having any kind of redundancy. You already know from your previous Python knowledge. So withdraw, and what we have to pass here for withdraw, we want to pass amount. Fine, so we'll just do withdraw amount. And once we withdraw, we should also kind of withdrawn. Okay, we should give some message so that we know what is happening. So we'll just do withdraw amount withdrawn, your new balance. Okay, usually when we take out money from the ATM, it also tells me the new balance. So your new balance is okay. Similarly, when we deposit it, we can have that kind of a message here. Okay, so deposited, credited, or something. Let me do deposited. Your new balance is this. So fine, so let me run this and this, come back here, account dot withdraw amount, and I think nothing else we need to do here. Let me take the same option here again, and let me write if choice is 3, then what we need to do, we need to, choice is 3 means deposit. Fine, so where was I? Okay, amount to deposit, and here we'll just put deposit amount, and we'll do account dot deposit. Okay, and this we'll do, and else we'll just say choice is 4. If choice is else, which means if the choice is 4, we'll just print, we'll say thank you for banking with us, have a nice day. Of course this has to run in a loop. Okay, so we'll think about the loop a little bit later, but first let us just verify if the code that we have written so far is working fine or not. It's asking for account number, I'm entering 1, enter the pin 1234. It says logging successful, and I want to check my balance. So it says okay, choice is 1, so I've given choice as 1. So what happened if choice equal to 1? Okay, sorry, I should not have cast it into integer because it is expecting string. Sorry, let us try again. So 1 and 1234, logging successful, we'll do 1, and it says your balance is this. Okay, and then it is exiting. Actually we should ask the user, do you want to continue, yes or no? If he says yes, then again we should show the balance, and we should ask the user to again maybe withdraw or deposit, whatever. But let us try one more time. We'll do 1 1 2 3 4, logging successful, and this time I want to deposit some money. Fine, so I'll do 3 and enter the amount to deposit. Maybe I want to deposit 30,000 rupees. So the balance is 10,000, I'm depositing 30,000. So it says amount 30,000 deposited, your new balance is 40,000. This is very good, because now if I have not named it here, but if we name it, then we can actually go and also check what is the balance for that account, but that is fine. So now I want to just run this in a loop. So what I want to do is this part I want to put in a loop, and this will be a infinite loop, and we will break it when we want. So I told you when we are writing loops, we should think about break conditions. So what are going to be the break conditions? The break condition is when the user enters this statement. So we are going to, here we are going to break it. Fine. And we don't want the user to enter the account number again and again, right? So we will need to have two loops. Okay. Once the user has entered the account number, here again we want a loop. I hope you're able to understand that. We'll enter the account number, and then the user will show the options to the user, and we'll take the option, and we will break only when the user enters 4. And once we have broken, we will again go back to the original loop. In the original loop, again we will ask for the account number, because if one user has done the transaction, he can do multiple things in the transaction, but once his job is done, he takes out his card, another user will come. So another user comes, he has to again enter the account number. So here I'm using two while loops. I hope all the logic here is correct, and this true loop will always be working unless we kind of switch off the ATM. So that option I'm not giving anyway. So let us run this again one more time. I'm doing account number 1 1 2 3 4 pin, and enter your choice. I want to withdraw some money, and amount to withdraw maybe 2000. So it is saying 2000 withdrawn, your new balance is 8000. Again, it is asking me select the correct option. What I can do here is I can ask the user if you want to continue or you want to exit, or I can just show this option. This is also fine actually, there's no problem. So I can just enter 4 here, and it says thank you for banking with us, have a nice day. Again, it is asking me for the account number. So I can, a new user can come here and they can enter 2, and the password was I think 5678. And again, the logging is successful. I want to just check my balance, and it says your balance is 20,000. Fine. Again, it is asking me for this. So I think whatever we wanted to do, I think we have done. And a few other things are there. For example, if I enter your choice, say maybe I want to exit. So I've exited. Now enter the account number. Suppose I'm entering the account number 3. So account number 3 does not exist. So enter the pin. They should not, I should not be asked to enter the pin because the account itself does not exist. So I should, there should be a error that is raised, which means that if you're entering an invalid card, if you're entering a card that is not supported, it will not ask you for the pin. It will say this card is not supported, something like that. So we should check that. But let us see what happens if I enter some random pin. It is giving me an error. So this is something like this is something that we have not handled properly, right? So try to think how we should handle it. I'll give you some time. Um try to do it on your own. Pause the video here and see how we should handle it. Actually, I'll give you a hint. What we should do here is, let us come back here where actually the error was propagated. When we do this atm.authenticate, okay, when we go to this authenticate, where is authenticate, here we are getting the account. Fine. So here we should check if account, which means if when we do registered accounts dot get account number, if the account number does not exist, so this get will give a none. Okay, so if not account, we should raise an exception which will say account not found, please try again, something like this. Instead of raising an error, you can also just write the message. That is also fine. It's up to you. So this is also fine. So now we can come, and if we run it again, suppose I'm giving account number 5, random pin. So it is giving me account not found. Please try again. So what I can do here is I should not even ask for the pin. Account number, pin. Okay, so what I should do is I should ask for pin here. Maybe here, okay, like this. Oh no, that will not work. So we are asking for pin. So we should not ask for pin, but we need to have pin for this authenticate. I think that is fine. Let us ask for the pin, and then we can tell the account. This is fine. Or you can simply put, you can make a check here for the account number. Here you can make a check if account, but it will be redundant code. So you can check here if the account number belongs in the dictionary. We have a dictionary atm.register. So we can also check, for example, if you do atm dot, see if you do this, this gives the namespace. So if you come here and if you look at the namespace, registered account, you see there are only two, 1 and 2. So we can also actually check that if the account number in ATM, like this, we can check if it is not there. If not, then we can raise an error, but let us skip that. It is fine. We can ask for account number, we can ask for account number and pin, and then we can raise the error. That is fine. So this is some basic logic. It's not that it is complete. There are a lot of other things also we have to take care of, but I think for now, a basic understanding, I hope you have got a basic idea of how this bank class and ATM is working, and how we have written the two classes, and then we have written a main function that brings together everything. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to shift the code and show you how we can transfer this code to an IDE and manage the different imports and modules, so that you get even better understanding. But in terms of logic, I think we have done most of the work that we wanted to do. Let us now take the next step and put together all the code in an IDE where we will operate this from the command terminal. Okay, so I'm going to use the IDE which is PyCharm. I think I have covered PyCharm in a previous video. So if you have not seen that, please go through the introduction to PyCharm section. You can also use VS Code or any other IDE that you like. I'm usually using PyCharm. I'll also show you in some other video how to use VS Code. I'm here, and here I'll just click on new project, and I'll go to the location where I want to create the new project, and Here I'm going to create a folder. I'm going to call it oops or ATM simulator. Okay, ATM simulator. This is the project, and I'm not doing anything with respect to the environment. I'm just creating a new environment here. So I think I've covered about environment also in a separate video. You can see that. So I'm just going to create this, and it is creating the environment. And once our environment is ready, we'll be ready to start writing the code. We have already written the code. We are just going to copy paste it. So we are in this ATM simulator, and I'm going to just create a new Python file here, and I'm going to call it bank account.py. Okay, so this is our bank account. This is our bank account module. So I'm going to copy our bank class, and let me keep this here. So I'm going to keep this here. So I've written down all the code that we had written for bank account. So we are initializing and everything. We are doing check balance and withdraw. We'll do something about these exceptions. We'll actually raise a value error, and then we will catch it in our main file. But for now, let us keep it this way. And then we have the ATM class. So I'll create another file here. I'll create another Python file. I'll call it atm.py, and I will paste the ATM code here. And here we are using this bank account. So we'll have to import the bank account from the bank account library. So what I can do is we can do from bank account import bank account. I was getting an error here, and here also I think we'll, instead of raising an exception, we'll raise a value error, and then we will later on we'll catch it, and then I'll create another Python file which will be main.py. So this will contain the main logic that brings together everything. So this will be our main logic. Okay, so here we'll need to import ATM. So we'll do from ATM import ATM, and from bank account I'm going to import bank account. I think that will be needed here to run this bank account, right? So this is our main function, and then we can run the main function here. We can write, or we can put this under a function. So what we can do is bank session. We can create a bank session here and put all of this inside this bank session, right? And then we can write if render name is equal to render main. Okay, so we'll run this bank session here, and I'm going to run this and see if everything is as per what we have planned, and then small minor changes we are going to make. We'll do some exception handling here. So when we are doing a withdraw, if this withdraw gives some error here, then our program is going to execute. So instead of doing that, we will catch the exception. So when we are in withdraw, we will raise an exception here. We'll raise a value error, and then we will catch the exception there. Okay, so that idea I think I have discussed earlier when we talked about exception handling. So we'll do an implementation of that also. So first let me run this code. I'm going to run this, and you can see here it says enter the account number. So I'm just doing the positive flow where I'm not generating any error. So once we do that, then we'll also try to introduce some errors and see what kind of message we are getting on the screen. I'm entering one here. It says enter your pin. I'll say 1234. It says logging successful, and select the correct option. Withdraw your check your balance. I'm just going to do one. The balance is 10,000 because that is what we started with. Again, one more idea is that when we are making these changes, we can also persist it somewhere, because once the code ends, all the withdrawing and depositing and updating the balance that we did, all of that is going to vanish, right? So we can also store all of these things in a file or a table, right? Or a CSV file or something. But I'm not doing that because as of now in your journey of learning, I have not introduced those ideas. But try to think of it when you do any kind of transaction in an ATM. Whatever you have done gets saved somewhere, right? There's a bank account, and in that bank account there must be a database where all of that is stored. How much money you have taken out, or how much money you have deposited, and what is your closing balance. So suppose I have done some transactions here, and once I close the code, I've closed the session, all of that information is gone. It does not persist. So we should also save it somewhere in a table or somewhere in a hard disk as to what was the balance, so that when we start the session again, we can resume from there. That is like persisting the information. We are not doing that as of now, but if you're thinking in that direction, you are very very right, and try to see how you can do that. Try to save it as a file. As of now, you know how to write text files, so at least you can write a text file, and the next time when you are trying to start another session, you can read from the file, and you can continue from whatever was your balance in the previous session. Okay, so right now I will not do that. I'm going to withdraw this time, so I'm going to withdraw maybe 2000 rupees. So now my balance should be 8000 rupees. Again, it is asking me select the correct option. I am going to exit, so it will say thank you for banking with us. Again, it is asking me for an account number. Now if I enter account number 4, okay, it is asking me for pin. I can do 1 2 3 4. You see here I'm getting this red trace back, and this is exactly what I don't want. Okay, this is because I'm raising an exception and then I'm not catching it. So I told you in exception handling that whenever we raise an exception, we should always catch it and show it to the user gracefully. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to put a try block here. Okay, I'm going to put a try block and I'm going to put except block here. And I'm going to show value error, and I'm going to print value error as E. Okay, and then I'm just going to print uh, error E. I'm going to take this, I'm going to put it here, I'm going to put a try block here. Okay, and I think everything is fine. I'll go to this bank account class, and here instead of exception I will raise a value error, and here also I will raise a value error. Here also I will raise a value error. Do we have any other raise? So we have value error and exception. Here also I will raise a value error. Okay, and here we have account not found. So here also we can raise maybe a value error. Okay, so that everywhere we can catch. We are raising in authenticate, we are raising. So here also we can probably do a try, and we can put this into accept block, and we can do, we can add this. Okay, and if you don't want to ask for pin when the account number is being asked, that time here itself you can do if account number not in, I can do ATM dot registered accounts. I think we can do it this way. Then also we can just print, um, we can print here, um, account, this account cannot be serviced or something like that. This account number, please try with some other account, something like this. Okay, so now let us try to run this again. And here you can see enter the account number. I'm going to enter the account number as 3, and you see it says account cannot be serviced, please try with some other account. Then it is again asking me for pin, so pin should not be asked, and I should maybe break. I can put a break here. Okay, let us try again. So it is, I can enter the account number 5. It says account cannot be serviced, please try with some other account. Okay, so it is breaking. I can do maybe continue. Okay, let us see what happens. Enter the account number. I can do account number 5. Account cannot be serviced. It is again asking me for account number. Fine. So this seems to be working. I can do 1, then enter your pin 1 2 3 4. Sorry, I entered an invalid pin, so it is giving me the error of invalid pin, but again it is giving me this option. That should not happen. See, these are the fail cases. I'm not trying to introduce the error options and then seeing how the code responds. So where did we go wrong? Display options. If authenticate, where is authenticate? Okay, so if authenticate doesn't happen, so if account, so here I have to put some option here. Here also we can do if account not none, if account, if account is none, because here this authenticate has to raise some error actually. So if error is raised, then also we are going to this loop. Okay, so that should not happen. Okay, so what we should do, if accept value error, here we should break, actually we can break it. That will be a good idea. So if we remove this, okay, and if we run it again, so these are some basic checks. And there is an idea for running this. There are test cases. We need to design test cases so that whenever we make changes in the code, these kind of things should not get affected. So I can do this. Account cannot be serviced. Fine. I'm going to enter a wrong pin. I'll just write 34. You can see it says in error invalid pin. It is breaking. Again, it is breaking. I should not break. I should put continue here. Sorry. Okay. So again, let me try. Enter account number, I'll give 6. It says account cannot be serviced. Fine, I'll give 1. I will enter the wrong pin. It says invalid pin. Again, it is asking me to enter the account number. So now it is working fine. I can do 2 and enter your pin. I can do 5, 6, 7, 8. Fine. And say, for example, the options are 1, 2, 3, 4. Suppose I enter 5. Okay, what happens? It says, thank you for banking with us. Have a nice day. What we can do here is we can say that you have entered invalid option. Please try again, because the options are 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm entering 5. So how do we handle that? We can come here and we can say, we can put a choice here. Elif, we can put the choice here. We can say if the choice is 4, then we'll do that. Else, we'll put one else condition here. We'll say print you entered, and again we will give what should we do? We can display options, I think. Or we can just continue. Okay, so there are a lot of cases which you will need to handle. I'm just solving a few of them, but if you try to run your code and try to introduce more and more errors, you will see where and all your logic might be failing. So I'm going to exit this, and again I'm going to run it. It says account number, I'm going to give 6. Account cannot be serviced, I'll give 1. I'll enter the correct pin, 1, 2, 3, 4. It says enter your choice, I'm giving a choice as 7. So what happens? It says you entered an invalid option, please try again. Again it is giving me the option. Now I can maybe withdraw some money, I can give 2, and amount to withdraw maybe I'm giving minus 10. Okay, so negative amount should raise some error. So it is saying error amount to be withdrawn cannot be negative. Again it is asking me to select the correct option. Fine. Now I want to deposit, maybe I'll give deposit as 3. Amount to deposit, I'm giving maybe some apple. Okay, this is invalid. So it is saying invalid literal for int. So see, this was something that we have not handled. We should handle this also. Okay, so what should we do? So to handle this error, so this error is actually, this is being shown because we are catching this value error, and this value error can come from this line, and this value error can also come from this withdraw function, because within the withdraw function I'm, see, if the amount is greater than 0, then I am raising a value error here which is insufficient balance. Otherwise I'm raising a value error here. So this value error is also coming. So we need to treat the value error from this line separately. So what we can do is we can put a nested try block here. We can put it here, and we can show except uh, value error. Okay, and we can show print the message because we are passing the correct message here. So we can use this line here. If there is any other value error, then instead of printing e, because otherwise we will get this invalid literal for int with base 10. I don't want to show this error to the user because this error does not make any sense to any end user. It makes sense to a developer. So this message I'm trying to avoid. So here what I can do is I can just say error, you have entered an invalid, you have entered an invalid input. So all of these are value errors, but I just want to show the message correctly to the user. That's why we are doing this rearrangement. So please enter a valid, entered invalid input, and again we'll put continue here. So when we do continue, the control will go back to here, so that again the display can be shown. Okay, so we are checking the balance, fine, we are withdrawing the amount, otherwise we are raising this value error. This value error need not be shown here, fine. And if for deposit also we'll use the same logic, we'll take this. What we can do here is we can put a try block, and we can put a except block here. Otherwise we'll put this. This should come here. Okay, so here we have handled it, and so this formatting that I'm doing, it's not looking as per the standard. So what we can do is we can install a library which is called as black. So black library, I can do a pip install black. So black library will help us format the code in a way that is compatible with Pepit standards. So I'm installing the black library, and I will just do black dot. So what this will do is this will just format my code. You can see it has formatted my code in a correct way. So we have withdrawn and we are raising the value error. Everything is fine, seems fine. Okay, so now let us go back and try running the code again. Okay, so I'm just going to exit this and then I'm going to run the code again. Let me clear this and then let me run the code again. So it is asking me for account number. Let me put 1. Enter your pin. Let me put a wrong pin. It is saying invalid pin. Very good. So account number maybe 1. I'm entering the correct pin 1 2 3 4. It is asking me for 4 options. Let me enter a wrong option 5. It is saying you entered an invalid option. Please try again. Fine. It is again asking me. I will do withdraw. Fine. So if I do -10, it is giving me the correct message. Amount to be withdrawn can't be negative. If I put some other number, enter your choice. I'm doing deposit maybe 3, and amount to deposit I'm giving Apple. So it is saying you have entered an invalid input. Please try again. So this is what I wanted to show to the user. I didn't want to show that literal int kind of error message, which did not make any sense. So now this I'm getting the correct message here. So I think this is all I wanted to show you. If you try more edge cases, you might find even more fail cases. I think most of them I've handled, but try to run this and see if you are getting any kind of unexpected behavior, and if you're getting it, try to fix it in the code. But my idea was to show you how we are writing these classes and how we are making them interact with each other to create a ATM simulation. So we'll keep this project till here for now, and we'll go back and we'll learn more concepts in OOPS. And once we learn that, we'll come back and we'll enhance this even more. And not just OOPS concept. When we learn about logging, we'll come back and we'll see how we can log information here. If we learn about connecting to databases and tables, etc., we'll come back again and we are going to add those functionality here. As of now, if you're very interested and if you have understood everything that I've shown, go ahead and write this code on your own, and then try to introduce some kind of persistence. Say for example, whenever we do any session for any account, try to write a file. So I've shown you file handling, so try to write a file somewhere and try to read that file every time when you are trying to get the account balance. Because if that account exists every time we are creating this account here, okay, so try to write the code in such a way, try to make some additions here such that whenever you run this bank session, it should fetch the amount that is already there in the bank account. Okay, so if bank account 1 is already existing, create a file with this bank account number, and in that try to write what is the amount, current amount. Okay, and what is the, don't no need to write the pin, or you can write the pin also and the amount also. Okay, so every time when you create the session, you should read it from the file, and suppose you do some transactions for 20,000 rupees, maybe you add 10,000 rupees, so 30,000 is the current balance that should be written somewhere. So next time when you're trying to make the transaction, it should not start with 20,000, it should start with 30,000. So try to make those changes. It is a little bit challenging. We will do it in some other video later, but as of now, if now you have understood everything, take this as an assignment and try to make that change. Otherwise, if you have just understood whatever I have shown you, that itself is sufficient. And we'll go ahead and we'll learn about inheritance and polymorphism, and then we'll come back and we'll make some changes to this. At the same time, we'll also try to add some more projects just like this ATM simulator. We can maybe work on a library management system, or maybe a student grading system. We can work on maybe school admission system. All these things we can try to simulate, and we can imagine, and we can write classes for this. So I'll show you a few more examples on these things, but as of now, just try to grasp this and try to write the entire code on your own. Feel free to make your own changes, add some functionalities or remove some functionalities. Try to imagine the entire scenario and try to write the code on your own. So this was a mini project I just wanted to show you. I hope you have understood, and I'll see you in the next video. Thank you.